guys, hi, welcome back once again. My name is Vaishali and today I'd like to talk about the ripple effect that we all are essentially a part of, that this entire universe is a part of. So we all have seen a crossword puzzle and at least attempted once to try and play it sometime in our life. And as I looked at that crossword puzzle, it revealed to me a few things which probably I had not thought of before. And probably I had not thought of it before because we all are conditioned into behaving and thinking a certain way, into seeing things a certain way, till the time that particular thing starts to speak with us, interact with us, and we become more aware of that interaction, of that engagement. So as I sat with this crossword puzzle and tried to solve it, I was obviously looking for some directions through these directives that had been provided at the bottom of the crossword puzzle. And somewhere I realized that what if these directions had not been provided to me? Would I still be able to attempt my own crossword puzzle then, because it's not been directed by somebody else? Nobody is providing me the directions here of how to attempt it, how to solve it. Can I still do it if those directions were not provided? And my first knee-jerk reaction was, no, it's not possible. But as I sat with that thought, I probably realized that yes, it might be possible, it may take longer and it may be a little more difficult because for years and years together, I have not been trained, I have not been conditioned to find my own questions and have my own answers or come to my own answers, which invariably also tells me that the person who has given these directions is already aware of the answers, knows those answers. And when I start solving this puzzle, my ego for a momentary span of time may get the satisfaction that I'm a pretty smart person, that I know how to solve the puzzle, that I know the pieces or the answers to those questions, that I am good enough. And the puzzle gently told me that you might think for a brief instance that you are a pretty smart person to be able to solve me. But somebody also knows the answer. Somebody already ahead of you knows the answers. You just might not be aware of it. And that's not to say that that kind of validation is not good for the ego. That kind of validation is helpful for the part of the self that is called as the ego. And that is not to invalidate a part of us that feels smart, but that also should enable us to understand that somebody who has given the directions already knows the direction, already knows the answer. We just are not aware of it. And the time we start getting aware of it, we start becoming a little more conscious, a little more attentive towards what we are trying to attempt. This crossword puzzle also told me that somewhere along the lines, all of the things interconnect at some point in time or the other. And even if we make a slight change in one of the alphabets, the entire dynamics of the game shifts. The entire game starts to change, and we have to redo the game all over again. We have to rethink about the entire word all over again, and a word is a thought in itself. So we have to constantly rethink, we have to constantly reassess, which means that we have got to be aware of every alphabet that we are placing over here, because the entire dynamic of this game then starts to shift. It also somewhere tells me that if a relatively small alphabet is capable enough of changing the entire dynamics of the game, is capable enough of changing the mindset of the game, the domino effect of the game. Imagine what would happen if we are that aware of every little change that we try to make within ourselves. Not only will the game just shift, but because of that particular alphabet that we have shifted, the entire players of that game will start to shift. Because it's not just the alphabet that is changing, that is shifting. It's the entire mindset that is shifting. It's the rules of the game that are shifting. It's the players of the game that are shifting. And which is exactly where radical changes or radical transformation begins to happen. It doesn't happen instantaneously. It begins with a single alphabet, and then the game shifts. It's at times a very time-consuming and a cumbersome process as well, but is it worth the effort? Probably yes, if we wish to solve the puzzle, if we wish to come to a full understanding of that puzzle. We need to give it a little time. We need to be able to engage our brains to be able to become aware of what we are trying to see. And probably that is where the concept of mindfulness comes in. It also somewhere told me that this entire play is like a chakravyu. The more you get into it, the more you become aware of that chakravyu. And if we need to bring about some mindful changes, we need to be able to understand the effect of one single alphabet, one single word, one single mindset that can change the entire dynamics of the game that we are engaged in, that we are constantly playing, whether we are aware of it or not. Let's try and think about that a little more, and I will see you once again the next week. Till then, stay tuned in. And guys, if you do like the contents of my videos, please do like, share and subscribe.